One of the first things we know in security is as soon as I change the purpose of a system, the security needs of that system change as well.
What do I see? I see a planet totally interconnected, which is today a mesh, and by being a mesh has some holes in it, it will become a skin with no holes.
Energy systems, the grid that currently powers the U.S. was built a long time ago, right? It really hasn't fundamentally changed in its architecture since Thomas Edison suggested it so long ago. So a lot of these older systems are ill-prepared for the smarter planet from a security perspective.
Security on the smarter planet is important because everything is some form of data. And data is neither good nor bad, it's what people do with it.
We have to consider human aspects when making systems at all smarter.
Anytime I introduce more technology, I introduce more risk. It's just the way it works. So you have to think pretty hard about where that technology is going to go. You've got to think about how I'm going to use it and how I'm going to balance out that risk.
There's little tiny holes that exist everywhere, and those little holes are what hackers are looking for. Those little holes where they can whittle their way inside a company.
Think about the way you consume power. You put plugs in the wall because you want power to come out of that wall. You're not expected to put power back into the wall. When we talk about a solar panel generating power, that's power that's going back into the grid. Now the grid has to protect itself against somebody who's connecting power into it from doing the wrong things. It has to understand who's generating power, how much is it worth, what time of day am I using power. And so the challenge of taking these systems and plugging them together really in a new way and building new things around them is to make them secure by design.
So if you can write the code in the software correctly, if you can build the firmware for your hardware correctly, if you can structure the correct processes that are secure by design right from the start, you're far better off than having to go find those after the fact.
The smarts that exist inside the smarter planet allow for better security. I know more about who's touching things. I'm capturing more data about the way that things ordinarily work. So when something bad happens, it goes off like a flare. I see it. I see it against a backdrop of the way that things usually happen, and I can tell something's not right. And that something that's not right is something I can fix. The planet really can't be smarter unless it's secure.